Hi friends. So Jeremiah 29:11 says that God has a great plan for our lives. God has a great plan for our lives, but we too have a plan which we make for our life. Isn't it? We too make a plan for our life. And is it wrong to make a plan? Nothing wrong. But what happens if this plan is being upset due to some reason, some circumstances which has taken place in our life? How should we deal with such situation? And then it is very difficult to believe that is God having better plans than what I had made. So stay tuned to this video if you have this question. Now I'm going to tell you about two instances from the Bible. We look at in the Old Testament where we see Saul. Now Saul was a young boy that time, and his father had asked him to look for a donkey. So Saul was in search of a donkey, and then he meets the prophet Samuel. Now prophet Samuel was there, and God had already communicated to prophet Samuel that you are going to anoint a young boy who is going to come tomorrow as the king of Israel. Now just imagine that Saul, a young boy, is looking in search, like he was in search of donkey, and then he becomes the king of Israel. So are you looking for some donkeys in your life? Jokes apart. So the things which you are looking for is only on the earthly level, like something which is just temporary, and you feel now this is going to be good for you, and you don't have any idea whether this is going to have a good impact over your life, whether it's going to be right for you or wrong, or what is the right time to have it, right? So same way friends, God has a wonderful plan, more wonderful than what you think is best for you. With this, I want to give you my second example, which is from the New Testament. Now, all throughout the Bible, we see that the Jews were looking out for Messiah. So, Messiah was supposed to come, and they were very, very happy because they were happy to know that Messiah is going to come one day. And now what happened, that Messiah was already there. We know he was Jesus. He is the anointed one of God. But the expectation which they had about Messiah was very different. You have to look at the background which was there at that time. So background was such that the Romans were ruling the Israelites, the Jews over there. So Romans were ruling the Jews, and therefore we see that they had just one thing in their mind, that they need freedom from Romans. So they thought that Messiah will be a glorious person who will sit on a throne, who will be like a king, and who is going to rule out the Romans before them. And that is what the expectation which they had. So the expectation was a glorious Messiah, a Messiah who is going to be a political Messiah. And Jesus was a Messiah, was a very poor man, a humble man, and he did not wear any clothes like a king or sitting on a throne. He was a simple person, and he was a suffering Messiah. So this was just not expected by the Jews. This was something which was not fitting in the actual concept of Messiah. So friends, in the same way, many a times when we are suffering, we feel that the plan which God has for us is just not unfolding in our life, and it is not making sense. Nothing is making sense right now. So we have to look here that Jesus was the total Messiah. He was not just a political Messiah. He had come to liberate the people from sin, from Satan, from sickness, from hell, and from all the negative things you can name. So the plan which God the Father had for Jesus was a total Messiah. And what the Jews were expecting was just a part of it, that is to get rid of the Romans. So friends, that is how we see in Isaiah chapter 55 verse 8 to 9. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, nor your ways are my ways, says the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. This is what the Lord says, that whatever plan you have and it is not been executed, it is for your good, because God has a better plan for your life. If we look at other scriptures also, we see it in Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5 to 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not rely on your own insight. In all your ways acknowledge him and he will make straight your paths. Same way we see in Philippians 1:6 which says, I am confident of this, that the one who began a good work among you will bring it to completion by the day of Jesus Christ. So right now, if you feel that the plan which you had for your life was not working out, it is for something better. With this, I want to end with a personal experience about my own family life, where my dad lost a job, a permanent job, where he was working for a long period of time over there. And it was when I was nearly in the 5th standard and my brother was just 3rd standard. And my mother was a housewife that time. And the situation in the family was something which we never expected. And really, my parents had a different plan. So same way, their plan was upset due to some crisis. And then after 1 year, my mother started out her own business in her 40s, which was really very, just can't thought of at that time. And believe me, the business was blessed by the Lord, and it was the standard of living which we were living before and after was totally different. We understood the plan of God, that God always has a better plan. He makes us wait, he prunes us, he changes us, he brings us through situations and things where we don't understand anything, but then he makes everything beautiful in the end. This is what I want to say. If you like this video, do like it, share it and subscribe to my channel. Thanks. Bye bye.